Hello, it's me again. This week we can do that. Ask and ye shall receive within reason. Ask and ye request shall be considered, at least. This is a good request. Ye shall receive, young filly. I like to think of myself as somebody who reads a lot, although this year not so much. I always have a book on the go, it's just I seem to be getting through them rather slowly at the moment. So I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint those of you expecting me to be able to talk about loads of books that I've read recently. But I do have a ton on my radar, so how about we play it like this? I'll talk about a dozen books, 4 that I've read this year, 2 that I'm currently reading, and 6 that I'm looking forward to reading very soon. The Peter Grant series by Ben Aronovich. I'm not sure how many are in the series or if Ben is still writing them, but I have read the first 4. They're about a police officer, Peter Grant, who wants to be made a detective in the Met Police, but he gets sent off to something called the Case Progression Unit, which is a position that he's thoroughly uninterested in until fate steps in and he meets one Detective Chief Inspector Thomas Nightingale, who investigates crimes that involve magic and the supernatural. The thing about it is that it's not your usual fantasy, before I lose half of you who are not interested in the genre at all. If you're not into fantasy or you're not sure, this is a good one for you to use to test the waters, because it keeps one foot very firmly in the non-fantasy world. It's also very funny. In a world of Venn diagrams, it sits neatly in the middle of fantasy, crime, funny and clever, which I think is pretty impressive. The next book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I think I have mentioned very briefly previously. In it, a Californian teenager gets into a rather exclusive university in New England, I think, and falls in with a crowd of classics students. Apart from the word classics, I probably wouldn't have been particularly interested either, but that is the problem in trying to sum up this author's books, because the blurbs just don't do them justice. Okay, so I've only read this and The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, so I'm basing this assertion purely on my experience of those 2 books, but I think she writes really well. Focusing on The Secret History, beyond studying the same subject as them at university, I didn't identify with any of the characters at all. I didn't even like them. They're not particularly nice people, but I really enjoyed the book, and I think that's quite revealing of how well written it is. In this copy there are 620 odd pages, and that's a lot of pages to get through if you don't like the characters and it's not well written. My theory is that it's very well written. The next book is Miss Mabel's School for Girls by Katie Cross, which I will admit I downloaded purely because my grandma is called Mabel and because it was free. 16-year-old Bianca gets into a famous magic school in order to confront an evil witch who cursed her family generations ago. And to add to all the fun, if she doesn't manage to get rid of the curse before her 17th birthday, then she dies. It's okay, it's the first in a series and I'm not in a particular rush to read the rest. It's a bit predictable and things happen a bit too quickly for the characters to establish and be developed, but I will give the author the benefit of the doubt and assume that she does this in future books. It's fine, it's enjoyable, it's a quick read, it's fine. And the last one that I've read recently is Bailey's Cafe by Gloria Naylor. Another one I got on Kindle because it was free. It was the first book that I've read by this author and it has definitely made me want to read more. It's almost a set of short stories. It's not, it's a whole complete novel, but it definitely is in the realm of short story-esque. All of the characters that you meet have individual stories. The common thread is that they all visit Bailey's Cafe, a diner that's open 24 hours a day. It's probably not one to take with you on holiday for a bit of light reading. Pretty much everyone who ends up at Bailey's Cafe has had something horrendous happen to them. There's not many laughs, but I did really enjoy it and get the sense that Gloria Naylor was, I think she died recently, an excellent storyteller. I'm reading 2 things at the moment, this and this. Freedom by Jonathan Franzen follows the lives of Walter and Patty Berglund, a middle-class, middle-aged US couple who met and got together at university. Am I enjoying it? Yes. Does it make me want to read more of the author's work? Not yet. Maybe it's one of those books that you can enjoy more if it really resonates with you and your experiences. I'm not currently a middle-aged woman who has teenage kids and is bored with her husband. But then good writing should be able to get you hooked anyway, so maybe I'm not enjoying it. No, I am. I want to keep reading and find out what happens to Walter and Patty. I just don't really care all that much about them. The jury is out on that one. To be fair, I'm only about halfway through. The other thing that I'm reading is a graphic novel that I think I mentioned a while ago, which is called The Autumn Lands by Kurt Busiek and somebody else. Benjamin Dewey. The animal wizards of the Autumn Lands reach back in time to bring a legendary hero to them who can save their world. Spoiler alert, it's not what they expected because it's a human man. That's about as far as I've read so far and I'm enjoying it. The artwork is cool and I need to find it and show you. I think it's cool. I haven't read that many graphic novels yet. Very quickly, because my battery light is flashing and this video is probably already longer than the normal ones, here are the 6 books that I'm looking forward to reading in the near future. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button and 6 other short stories by F. Scott Fitzgerald. The Great Gatsby is one of my favourite books. It's the only thing I've read by Fitzgerald so far, and since I've read it, I've wanted to read more of his stuff, but I've been scared in case I didn't enjoy it as much. But yesterday I stopped wussing around and bought this. The Unwomanly Face of War by Svetlana Alexievich, which I've definitely mispronounced, which I bought at the same time as the Benjamin Button book as a bit of a blind buy. I liked the look of the cover, and the synopsis on the inside sleeve had me hooked. Odyssey by Matt Fraction and Christian Ward, because a trippy, gender-flipped version of Homer's Odyssey hurtling through space on psychedelic science fiction wings. Yes, please. Bounce by Matthew Saeed, which somebody at work lent me because always accept the offer of a book, boys and girls. It's a non-fiction book which I think focuses on the theory that it takes 10,000 hours of practice at something to make you an expert. Mother Tongue by Bill Bryson. Another one that somebody at work lent me because clearly I hide my love of language structure very well. And lastly, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, because I haven't yet found anything that that man has written that I haven't enjoyed. Hi again, my name's Rebecca and I post a new video every Wednesday. What have you been reading lately? Oh, come on, trains, give me a break. What have you been reading recently, my lovelies? Are there any recommendations? I am quite happy to add to my to-read pile, intimidatingly big though it currently is. This feels like another long video, which is 2 in 2 weeks, so I will stop talking very soon. All that remains to be said is to thank you very much for watching, remind you that I will be back next week, and to ask that in the meantime you always remember to do the things. Work hard, laugh harder, and always accept a hug. You know them by now. Bye!